we come now to the next step. What I do now, I will do an adjustment of the poses. I will try to make them more appealing. Work on the eyes, maybe the fingers. Basically make the poses stronger and more appealing. So I can do that. Oh, well, what I see here, I have to adjust my double key. It's spliny somewhere over here. So make the double key and this should be gone. Alright, that's good. Looks good. Now we go into that first pose and try to adjust it. Maybe go in and take a look at the eyes first. Adjust the eyelids, the eyebrows, put some expression onto the character. We can do that here. This controllers. Lower, raise the eyebrows, adjust them, make him more surprising or more angry or whatever you need. Also later adjust the eyelids. Another important principle is appealing. Appealing means everything what the audience wants to see. And this means good design, strong poses, acting, the idea, movement and animation. Usually the design is not coming from the animator. So there's nothing you can do about that, but you can put in strong poses with a negative and positive space, line of action. Or it's up to you if the acting is interesting and dimensional. I mean, it's your idea, it should be entertaining and the movement and animation should look nice. So it should look nice means be fluently and should be appealing for the eye of the audience. So the audience must say, give me more if he sees the character. But appealing doesn't mean cute. It's more like interesting, sympathetic, dimensional, funny, contrast in shape and likable. And dimensional is put together by three parts. It's like the physis, this is age, gender, weight and height. His social behavior, it's his job, his education, his religion. And his psyche, it's moral, ambition, temperament, IQ, and all that stuff. You as the animator should know exactly what the character is about. And from that information that you put together, you create that dimensionality that makes the character so interesting. And also the variant should be appealing. So that's a lot of stuff to consider, but it's really important. And appealing should also be considered when you do the staging, because in the staging you also think about the acting, what is happening, how is it happening, and appealing just means think about the acting in a good way for the audience. So just keep on adjusting the body, changing the fingers, get double key here, so they look more relaxed, hanging down. Then the eyes, make them more expressive. I think that if you animate a character or pose it, there are two, or you can divide it up into two parts. One is the body language. That is very important. So the audience, if the audience takes a look just at the body, it should say already what is happening. But even more important is the face. The first thing, if you look at somebody, you look him into the eyes. So the eyes should be the strongest in the whole character. Then you have the mouth, you have the eyebrows. This all in combination is, I think, even more important than the body, because it says so much about the character, about his mood, about his everything. So be aware that the face is really, really, really important for the appealing of the character. Yeah. And as you see in the animation, it's better. The eyes look cooler, but I have to adjust them his pose. So let's go in and make it look nicer or more in his character. So make it cooler. For that, lower the eyelids. Exactly. Lower them. And turn the eyebrows. Do that for I know what I do, dudes. No problem. Yeah. Little smile, yeah. I can't really do it with that rig because he has a very limited facial expression regarding smiling or doing some phonemes. Okay, what I can do now is I make a selection by the script editor. I just select all the controllers. I can put it into the shelf. That's quite helpful. So I can select the controllers even though they are not shown, or I can just select the controllers if I select the mail script. And here I can adjust the clipping plane for the eyes, and I can do that by changing the near clipping plane. And this looks much better now. Sometimes you have to play around with that. If two objects or polygons are coming too close to each other, Maya sometimes doesn't know which one of them to show. And you can adjust this by the near clipping plane. Alright, so let's move on and adjust the next pose. Okay, I don't know if I told you some of the definitions for key pose and extremes and breakdowns. I mean, I talk about it all the time, but I don't know if I told you exactly what it means. So first, I want to tell you what a pose is. A pose is a posture of a character at a specific time. And it shows what is happening at the moment and what the character is feeling. And several of these poses behind each other describes the animation. And there are different definitions for the poses. So you have the key pose, the extreme, the breakdowns, and the in-betweens. And the key pose, that is what we're doing now, describes the main mood or action of a character. And this is important because it tells the story point of the shot. So we see exactly what is happening and when is it. And the extremes, those poses stand for the start and the end of a new direction. So for example, also for that throwing the ball, in that exactly that pose, that anticipation. But for me, the key poses and the extremes can be the same like it is in that case. So if I do build up my scene, usually I put in both. And after they stand, and the director can see, okay, that is the story, that is happening, I like that, move on. Then I come to the breakdown and the in-betweens. And the breakdown defines the transition between the extremes, and it creates arcs and natural movement. So with the breakdown, we say what is happening between the key poses. Is the character going up or going down? And then we have the in-betweens. And these are the frames between keys, extremes, and breakdowns. And they define how fast or slow a character starts to move or ends his movement. But later on, you will see more about that. We will save the scene